Good afternoon on what is a warm, bright and sunny day. It is Wednesday the 31st of August and I've got a nice cup of tea and some parcels to unbox. So let's get to it, and I'm going to dig into one I've already opened, and what I'm going to pull out is this, which is a scenario for Dungeon Crawl Classics. Dungeon Crawl Classics module for your fantasy campaign. It's called the Sunless Garden, and it's an adventure for level 4 characters. It's by LaSalle, and this is the special Gen Con 2022 exclusive edition, Gen Con exclusive. Okay, so after arriving at the seemingly abandoned trading post of Garland's Fork, the heroes discover to their horror that all of the inhabitants have been transformed into black trees. Upon further investigation, they find clues that lead them to the hidden lair of Nook, a treant corrupted to unspeakable evil. Nook has been transformed by the strange radiation of a recently discovered meteorite that has fallen from the heavens. The once benign tree folk is now twisted and evil, a diabolical force to be reckoned with. In order to save the town of Garland's Fork, the heroes must enter a sunless garden and do battle with other mutant creatures, and along the way they might discover fabulous treasure. Remember when fantasy role-playing game was new and unpredictable, when you didn't know what a monster might be able to do or how a wizard spell might manifest? That time when inspiration came from classic sword and sorcery paperbacks, cheap comic books, and bad movies instead of the latest RPG source book? Those days are back. Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG adventures return to those wild times when role-playing games were uncharted territory and even the dice were strange. Each adventure is designed to be exciting, mysterious, and challenging you with monsters you've never before seen, and magic you don't know if you can trust. Throw off the expectations of the ordinary and get ready for adventures undreamed of. The Sunless Gardens was originally published in 2004 as Dungeon Crawl Classics 10 by Goodman Games. This classic has now been updated for use with Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG rules. Herein you will find all the new monsters, player handouts, details on the trading post of Garland's Fork, plus all new interior artwork and maps. Available only for a limited time. So Dungeon Crawl Classics is a retro clone. And it's very much its own thing in flavour and character. Tends towards the unpredictable, but it does empower your characters. The classes are quite fun and strong. So, for example, the warrior has a mighty deed which he can roll and have extra effects. And whenever the magic user casts spells, or the cleric casts spells, he or she rolls on a table for each individual spell to get the various effects. And what that means is that as the wizard or cleric goes up in level, he'll have greater and more effective results. The halfling and the thief both have access to luck to be able to do amazing things, and so on. So what do we get in here? This is a level 4 scenario, so 4th level characters, and in general, when you hear about Dungeon Crawl Classics, you mainly think about character funnels, and character funnels are designed for 0 level characters. They're a great idea. They're great role-playing opportunities in which every player gets given 4 0 level characters, and they go through like the equivalent of a first level adventure, try to survive, and if any of them do, they get enough experience points to go up to actually acquire first level, gain a class and all its benefits. In the meantime, what they've got to do is rely upon each other and luck. So, open up, very nice frontispiece as you would expect from Goodman Games, always do it that kind of style, and then we delve in basically the background, essentially the background and setup for the judge, as the game master is known. And we've got adventure hooks there. It's not just one reason to go there, there's several reasons which the judge can pick and choose from. And we've got a little map of Garland's Fork, plus a guide to how to track in the area and the effects of the black moss, which has transformed obviously all of the inhabitants of the village into black trees. So essentially, first description. So what you have to start off is that classic Dungeons and Dragons style adventure. Village in peril. Save the villagers, and go and find the source of the problem, and putting into it. So yeah, so the adventure itself is sort of the section of the event in the village is quite short. Before we get into the Sunless Garden itself, where you're describing, you've got a general description of describing the general features, things like bugbear mutations. So they're not just ordinary bugbears; they're mutated bugbears, and they have a random effect. And then we have wandering monsters, and then we get into the description of the Sunless Garden itself, with descriptions including a hidden entrance, not on the map, and areas of the map. So describing the various locations. So here we go. And the thing is with most Dungeon Crawl Classics titles is they're not extensive. Instead, what they do, they tend to take quite a small area. This has expansion, so to the area D or area B, as you can see around the edge here. But there's just 12 locations here. So instead, what it does is actually describe those individual locations in detail. There's none of this sort of like, here's a simple description, here's the monsters, go. There's always colour and flavour and detail there that the judge can describe and explain to her players, and the players and their characters can interact with. So again, more artwork, quite lightly illustrated, but I mean, and again, you've got this. Generally, what you've got here is roughly about half a page devoted to each location. And then we have the minor locations of each of these locations. So location A is a bugbear prison, and here you've got a more. The map is done in sort of like isomorphic, sort of like three-dimensional style, so a little easier to read for the game master, for the judge. We have the Chapel of Entropy. So essentially mini locations around the Sunless Garden. A bugbear refuge for one of the larger locations, and I think obviously what's coming through here is the fact is that bugbears yes, bugbears are evil, but what you're getting from this is essentially if they've got a refuge, okay, they're put upon as much by the effect of the entropy and the black moss as the villagers of Garland's Fork. We have Nook's workshop, which is where the big villain of the piece hangs out, and we've got a part 3, the Dark Garden. So it's its own little section. So we actually have level 2, a full dungeon. Now I suspect that when this was originally published, when was this? Back in 2004, this would have been done as fairly ordinary. I say ordinary, as a simple 2-dimensional map with the basically the white on the sort of like on the blue background, which is what they used in the classic TSR modules, sort of like from the early 80s. It was either black. It was a black background with white. Essentially the white of the dungeon, all the locations drawn around it. But here you can see it's actually been given a 3-dimensional do-over, as they say. Here we have obviously the player characters conducting their investigation. Before we get into sort of like the final section, we've got basically discussing the aftermath of the scenario, and we've got the appendix with player handouts. There's player handout 1 or A and B. So everything there that you need to play, and on the front there you've got Nook himself, the Twisted Treant. So yes, that is the Sunless Garden, published by Goodman Games, specifically for Gen Con 2022. You may have some luck in tracking that down or finding it in PDF. Anyway, in the meantime, I will be doing a review of it sometime soon. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a package from which I will unbox a book or game and chat about it to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.